What kind of person hits another person or a dog or a cat with their car and just drives off? First of all, if you can't see my face, sorry, not sorry, but I have an excuse. I'm blind. I'm too blind to drive, and I'm too blind to look in the viewfinder, and I'm too blind to care what the visuals look like on my videos. So it's not about what you see on this channel, it's about what you hear. So sorry, not sorry if you can't see my face, but whether I'm recording on my phone like I am now or on my audio recorders like I often do, the sound quality is pretty darn good. Well enough for you to be able to hear me when I say, I might get some hate on this video, or I might get people in the comments saying, God, do I understand what you're saying? Or I might get both. But what goes through the minds of people who run into something, someone, another person, an animal, with their car and just drive off, just keeps going? They're called hit and run accidents or hit and run crashes. And unfortunately, they happen quite often. And the hit part is an accident. Oh my God, I didn't even see that person. I had the light and I didn't see them, or I saw them, but I didn't stop in time. I didn't have the ability to stop in time. I slammed on the brakes, but I couldn't stop in time. I mean, that happens. That's, you hit the other person, the dog, the cat, by accident. But hit the other person, the dog, the cat, the whatever it is, and then just drive off. That part is not an accident. You could have stopped. You could have realized that, what got me talking about this? I was in the break room at my workplace this morning, and a coworker was saying that I guess she was on her way to work this morning, or she was on her way out of her house, or I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but
Lift. Now. Lift. Account update. Your offer. Speech off.
Seriously, be quiet. I don't take Lyft, L-Y-F-T anyway. There's no ability to specify that I want a driver that knows how to deal with a person with a disability. But whether you're a Lyft driver, an Uber driver, or just a run-of-the-mill driver, you shouldn't run into a person or an animal and just drive off and pretend like it didn't happen. This coworker, I guess, witnessed a poor kitty cat get hit by a car, and I'm trying really hard to be nice, the individual behind the wheel of the car that I could call all kinds of things, just drove off. Didn't even brake and go, whoa, what did I hit? They just drove off as if it was just a typical bump in the road. That's not a bump in the road. A 10-pound cat or a 30-pound dog or a 160-pound person, I would think, feels bigger than a little oh shoot, somebody really needs to come over and pave this part of the road. How do you not know you hit something big? Surely you felt that. Why wouldn't you stop and look back and say, okay, what exactly did I hit? And then, God forbid, it's somebody it's somebody, call 911 for God's sake. Stop and call 911, see if the person's all right. Hang out until the police get there and the medics and the whoever else, and do what a person who accidentally hits someone is supposed to do. Don't do what the person who hit another person. Seriously, I'm recording this over 2 incidents. The one this morning with the poor little kitty cat who is running happy and free on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge right now. And a person who, seriously, I belong to a blindness advocacy organization who is having a memorial event tomorrow whether I personally am present at the event or not is irrelevant. It's what the event regards that is relevant here. They're gathering at a street corner where a man who was walking in the crosswalk with his white cane with the perpendicular traffic on his side crossing the street was run over by someone driving a car, and the someone driving the car didn't bother to stop. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been classified as a hit and run crash. Hit and run crashes, maybe it's not fair to say this, but it just seems like people who are involved in hit and run crashes, the ones who actually, the drivers in the hit and run crashes, I hate to say it, but what do they have in their chest where they should have a heart? I mean, like I said, you hit someone, that can be an accident. You drive off and pretend like it didn't happen, that's not an accident. That's you going, oh my God, what? I can't be here right now. And speeding off like a person running out of a burning house. Okay, what about the person that might not survive the crash? Or if they do, they've got a long recovery ahead of them. Unfortunately, in case you haven't figured it out by now, the man with the white cane who was run down in the street also did not live. You know, if you're able to drive, you're blessed. Because some people can't drive. Just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't do is a statement that, depending on what the circumstances is, sometimes I agree with it, sometimes I don't. Just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't drive. I don't agree with that. Yes, it does. At least as of now it does. And even when the self-driving cars evolve and maybe at some point become available to the blind, what is the self-driving car going to do when the idiot in the other car, who is just the star of stupid pet tricks, swerves over from the other lane and does something stupid? Is the self-driving car going to react to that correctly? What is the self-driving car going to do when the kid runs out in the middle of the street? Is the self-driving car going to stop? What is the self-driving car going to do when the kitty cat or the wayward dog runs out in the middle of the street? Is the self-driving car going to stop? Well, if it was a self-driving car, then the person behind the wheel of the self-driving car needs to have a way to override that self-driving car and say, no, stop. That was way too big to have just been something simple. I'm going to go back and look and find out what the hell I just hit and do something about it. If it's an animal, see about getting them to a veterinarian. If it's a person, call 911 for God's sake. And these were not necessarily self-driving cars. These were people that just didn't want to deal with the fact that they just hit something that probably wasn't just a bump in the road. Please, if you drive and you feel a big bump, just stop for a second and go, okay, what did I just hit? Look back. If it breathed and isn't breathing now, or if it breathed and is still breathing but barely, have the heart to stop and do something.